And we're live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Wheel Talk, the podcast with a guy in a wheelchair and another guy in a wheelchair. What a great little surprise. Hello, Brian.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Hey, thank you. It was a last minute thing, but I'm like, hell yeah, I'll jump on the podcast. You said
Absolutely.
Brittany wasn't able to make it today. What's she up to?
She had a medical appointment that she had to go to with her sister, and I said, "Oh, can we do tomorrow?" And I said, "Oh, I've made plans for tomorrow." And I said, "I tell you what, I'll message Brian." And then Brian was like, "Yes, let's go."
Yeah. Heck yeah.
Nice.
Cool.
So the last time you were on the podcast, Brian, I showed you a video, an AI video of you picking up your daughter Ellie and throwing her in the air, and you had quite an emotional reaction. It was a very beautiful, organic moment that we captured, which resonated with a lot of people. It's actually really made me quite emotional as well to see you so emotional. And we've got that video queued up if we can give the viewers a little refresher. But I just wanted to ask you, how have you felt since that? Obviously you've sort of that sort of less emotional reaction, and you also showed your family and your daughter. So maybe tell us about that.
Yeah. So, it was a punch in the face when I first saw it. I mean, it's so weird because it was such a good feeling, yet it was just so bittersweet to see me stand up. And like I told you before, I mean, it was so real. And and that was the main thing that my whole family thought. I After our podcast, I cast it to our huge TV in the living room just so they could see the full thing, and they all cried, of course. Ellie, my daughter, was just it was like she was silent for a second. She didn't know what to think, and then she did start to tear up a little bit, and she just said, I wish you could do that. I wish you could lift me up. I wish I could ride on your shoulders. I wish, all the things, all the same things that I wanted, and that she's made comments before like, "Hey daddy, I wish you could do this. I wish you were like the other daddies." And I said, "Well, I do too."
Yeah.
I definitely do. But yeah, I'd like to see it again. It's been a little while since I saw it.
Yeah, I've got it queued up. Let's play it. I've definitely got some more questions for you, but this is the video that I showed you before. And let's play it one more time. I mean, it really is so wildly realistic, isn't it?
It
It's
really
wild.
is. Yeah, and what's weird is she, of course, that was a couple years ago. She's older now, but it almost looks more like her now than it did.
Oh, really?
Yeah, or no, a little bit. Yeah, it just
Yeah,
looks a lot like her. And
yeah, yeah,
it's so weird that it just automatically captures what I look like standing up. I mean, what I remember, it back to 2009 before I got hurt. That's
yeah,
exactly what I looked like standing up. I know it sounds silly, but
yeah,
since AI doesn't know what my body looks like standing up, yet it nailed it.
yeah.
I was just like, wow, that is crazy. It's nuts.
It's so wild. It's such a powerful tool, and yeah, it's interesting how, I guess, I know that Ellie. What is she, 9? You say?
No, so she'll be 8 this year. She'll be
Oh,
eight.
sorry, 8. So
Yeah,
yeah,
eight in July. Yep.
so she's like 7. So for a 7-year-old to say, "I wish you could do that," that's like almost like an extra kick in the dick because you're like, "Yeah, I know." Like, but also it's also through an unfiltered lens of obviously she wants you to do that as well, but do you know what I mean?
Right.
I just wanted to double click on that. How does it make you feel when she says something that is sort of accidentally hurtful?
It's so funny. She does it every day. So she can be a little dickhead. She calls me close together eye man, like because my eyes are close together. I'm like, F you. She's like, Dad, your legs are so skinny. Like
Oh goodness.
one day it was just so, I don't know. She just doesn't have any filter.
Yeah,
But so I guess to say I'm used to it is probably the truth. I mean, like I said, she said it before. It was just the moment of actually seeing what it could be. Had I not been paralyzed, that was the major hit. So
yeah. I know exactly what you mean. Like, well, last time we spoke, I told you about the little moment of just my friend Tom picking up his little kid and just throwing him in the air and catching him, and then I was almost brought to tears just for the thing. Oh, I'll never get to do that. And you know, it's. I don't want to have the same conversation we had last time, but it is so interesting how those little moments hit you so hard because you're like, oh, that's such a small moment. And there was a lot of support in the comments saying, you know, being a parent is made up of 1,000 different moments. You know, like that's just one of them. You know, and there are absent parents, there are drunk parents, there are abusive parents. So for you to just be present and loving is enough. You know, but at the same time, there's this visceral like, oh yeah, but I want to, you know, being able to move and you know. Also protect and you know just all sorts of things that you're limited to do from a wheelchair. It just brings up doubt.
On the other side of that, I remember thinking too, like, what would it be like if I was a quadriplegic and not even be able to? Because we play all the time. She'll climb up on my lap, and you know I'll tickle her, and we'll just have fun and goof off. And I'm like, I don't think I could do half the things that we do playing wise if I didn't have, you know, use of my arms and my hands or hand strength, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a double-edged sword for sure. But I always try to think, you know, it could be worse. It could always be worse.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh,
it just helps. It helps me cope.
Yeah.
Because with a shit situation, what are you going to do? You know, you can't change it.
Yeah.
And that was kind of one of my other questions I had for you. It's kind of deep, which do you think your injury happened for a reason? Like, do you think looking back, I know it's a weird concept to think about.
I think maybe, yeah, because I was working at a place called Le Bec Jaune, which is a restaurant in town. And I remember saying, I love this job. I could never see me leaving this job. And I was in there all the time and I was drinking a lot, only because it's a brewery as well. They brewed their own beer and they give you free beer if you're working there. And, you know, one of the colleagues was like, well, if you don't drink the free beer, you know, it's you're essentially getting paid less, you know. And I was like, oh, okay. So I was drinking beer every day and I was a little bit chubbier. I wasn't in such good shape. But I was able-bodied and I was snowboarding a lot. But I was in this sort of, I was stuck, you know, like I wouldn't have ever left that voluntarily. And then when I spent so much time in that building, you know, with those, like if I was in work or outside of work or after work, and I smoked as well, you know, and I was just, and now, you know, it's been 7 years, no alcohol, no tobacco. And so does it happen for a reason? I don't know. Someone asked me this the other day in the gym and, you know, sometimes you think, am I looking at things from a positive perspective or is it just sour grapes? I'm like, oh, you know, before I was just such a, you know, I was just partying all the time. And, you know, now I'm so much more, you know, I don't drink, I work out, you know, I'm healthy. I've got other interests. I've got podcasts. I do content creation. I do magic. You know, I do all of these things I wouldn't have done, you know, if I'd have carried on my old life. But, is that giving something meaning, or is it just sour grapes? You know, my old life. You know, and I frown on people that haven't changed. You know, and they're still in that old pattern. So yeah, does it happen for a reason? I like to think that I've definitely evolved a lot by putting that old lifestyle behind me. But would it have happened anyway with like maybe a child, for example? Who knows? I don't know. Did it happen for a reason? I don't know. But I certainly have given it meaning.
Right. Yeah, and that's kind of what I think too. Just wondering, have you ever? So there's a movie called The Butterfly Effect. Have you ever seen that? Okay.
Yeah, I have. Yeah.
So like just one small moment in time that kind of changes the trajectory of their entire life, even their friends' lives. So I was thinking, I had something happen this week that really hit me hard. So my childhood home, I almost purchased it. So I'll kind of back up. My mom passed in 2006. I got a insurance settlement through, you know, I guess she had, what is it called? Life insurance. Mm-hmm. So what I could have done is taken that life insurance check and purchased the house that my stepfather he didn't want to live there anymore because, you know, I had a lot of memories but it was the house that I grew up in. But instead I chose to buy a condo, which was cheaper. And then I bought a motorcycle. And it just made me think so much. Like it's like a pivotal moment, you know, just seeing that house go up for sale again and thinking, what would it look like now had I purchased it? Where would I be had I purchased it? Because you also remember at that time too, well, that was 2007. I didn't break up with Tiffany till 2009, but it was one of those scenarios of would we be together if, because I think that the accident kind of pulled us back together because it made me realize what I had, and I was 25 years old and being a dumb kid. And I just wasn't ready to settle down, at that time. So I don't know. It was this whole house thing that just this week was just such a mind fuck for me. I don't know.
Yeah, but so if you'd have bought the house, maybe you wouldn't have been paralyzed, but then, maybe you wouldn't have ended up with Tiffany and Ellie and,
Right.
There's so many different things. Like, have you ever seen, what's the, About Time? Is it called About Time? There's a really beautiful story about this guy who can time travel. Anyway, he goes back, how can I tell this succinctly? He can time travel to places that he's been before in his life, which is really cool. And he uses it as a complete life hack. But he goes back in time before his daughter was born, and then when he jumps back, it's a completely different child, because obviously if one sperm is different, and he was like, oh shit, so he has to go back in time to undo the thing that he did. So if
Right.
you, again, it's all relative, right? So if you had a different kid and you had no memories but of this other child, you would be familiar with. But if you did go back in time and you changed and then you were able-bodied, but then you had a different child that you were really unfamiliar with, you'd be like, oh no, actually I want my old life back. It's really weird what, like, the things that we crave and stuff like that. So yeah, it's just kind of thought-provoking.
And that's probably why we can't time travel, because we just go back and screw it all up. I feel like that's been the premise of so many movies, just, little tweaks here and there. But it just makes you think. It makes you think.
Yeah.
I always think about the timeline of my life, and how things have gone so far. And I'm happy where I'm at. It's just one of those things where I think of how so many little things could have completely changed the trajectory of where I am now.
Yeah.
And ultimately, my answer is yes. I just have a gut feeling that this accident happened for a reason. I know people can think I'm crazy. I'm kind of woo-woo in the sense that I believe like in reincarnation and all that. And I think we pick different challenges for ourselves. And I think this was the card I picked. Of course, you don't know about it once you come back, but that's my theory. I could be crazy.
Yeah. I think you might be right. Like, there's so much that's happened since my accident that I think has been really fulfilling. Of course, would you choose it? Like, in hindsight, again, through the rearview mirror, everything seems so easy. You're like, oh yeah, I was paralyzed. I was in the hospital. I was sad for a bit. It's like I was like dreaming of ways I could kill myself. I was completely, utterly rock bottom depressed. But in the rearview mirror, oh yeah, I was sad for a bit. But like, it's my new normal now. It's fine. I'm in better shape in my upper body. I'm skipping leg day. But like, it's I've gotten more eloquent because I talk a lot online. I feel like I'm wiser. But yeah, so am I painting a positive picture? Am I filling in the gaps, or is it sour grapes? My old life, what a loser.
Right.
I don't know, it's interesting. So yeah, I think also that film About Time, I think you'd really, really like it. It's very, very cool. It's really
I need to write it down. I want to put it down here.
Apart, like, the whole movie is about him having a beautiful life hack where he can just go back. Like, for example, he's trying to chat up this girl and he just keeps going back, and because he keeps making like silly mistakes and he keeps going back and back and back until he gets it right. It's like wildly romantic, and it's a beautiful movie. Yeah, really.
Yeah, it's kind of like Groundhog Day. I don't know if you've ever seen that one.
Yeah, Groundhog Day is really good. Yeah, I like that. But if I could go back and then not have my accident happen, I think I would like to see like what path I would have led. There's like obviously a big fork in the road, and I'm really interested to see like what would my life have looked like. Would I have carried on down that road? Would I have been fat? Not an alcoholic, but would I have been? I don't know. Like, just so interesting, isn't it? It's just
It'd be cool if we could at least get a preview, not actually go back and screw anything up, just to see. I don't know.
Just to peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, peek behind the curtain and see.
Yeah, yeah. But like you said about the video, like that was what sparked me to make that in the first place, seeing a picture of me in my standing frame and just seeing the possibilities. I do miss the spontaneity of just being able to go somewhere, oh, should we go there? Absolutely. And you just walk off. You don't have to be like, do I have my meds? Do I have my catheters? Are there going to be stairs? Is it wheelchair accessible? Are all this like weird tick list of things before you go anywhere. It's a ball ache, it really is.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. So that led me into another tangent question about like your dreams. I don't know if we've talked about that, but are you walking in your dreams?
Almost always. If I'm not, there are a few exceptions. One time I was on a bike and I was amazing on this bike. I was like, Danny McCaskill.
No.
I could ride a bike like I could ride a bike like I could maneuver my wheelchair, but I couldn't leave the bike. It was really weird. I couldn't get off the bike. Right. There are times where I'm walking, but I'm always like, has someone got my wheelchair? Because I'll need my wheelchair, and like I'm just always in the back of my mind. But you got my wheelchair, right? Like even though I'm walking, and then sometimes when I wake up, I'm very, very convinced that I don't need my wheelchair. And I'm like, no, I know that I need my wheelchair most of the time, but I definitely don't need it all the time. And then there's this sort of grey area that becomes very, very black and white of like, oh no, I do need my wheelchair. I can't even walk a little bit, not even a little bit. And then it just sinks in of like, no, I am a full-time wheelchair user, yeah. So I don't know if that resonates with you.
Yeah, it does. That's why I was curious, because I was like, I almost always walk, but one of my things is that my legs are sometimes really weak. So I'm walking, but like my legs are weak. So, and it's one of those situations that if I sit down, I know in my dream I won't be able to get back up.
Oh, wow.
It's the weirdest thing. Or, I'll come to a staircase and I'll pick the wheelchair up and just carry it up the stairs and plop back down in it. It's just so weird. It's so weird. I was just curious if that happens for you.
The most recent one, I was in a really muddy field, and I remember thinking, oh, thank God I'm not in my wheelchair. And because it was like really like thick mud. And I remember thinking, again, it's all so clear in hindsight, but in my dream, I was like, thank God I'm not in my wheelchair. But I wasn't like, oh my God, I'm not in my wheelchair. Like I'm actually navigating this muddy field, like one foot in front of the other. It was just, thank God, I'm not in my wheelchair right now. That would be a ball ache. But it doesn't clock that, it's a completely different reality.
Right. The reason I asked is last night I had the weirdest dreams. So we did daylight savings time yesterday, and I swear it's got me all jacked up. Like my internal clock is not right. It's probably why I've got like dark circles under my eyes today. I'm just like, been kind of in a funk. But where was I going with that? What happened in the dream? Oh yeah, I was traveling. So I was like 2.5 hours away. And I realized in the dream that I forgot my catheters, and I flipped out because I'm like, what am I going to do? And I've even had that happen in real life where I was driving up to Michigan, which is hours away. And I realized I didn't have any of my pooping supplies. So I had to get them. I had to figure out how to get them when I got there. But it was just that sinking gut feeling of crap. Like I forgot something, major, something that, but yet again, I was walking, and I'm able to have as far as in the dream,
Oh, right. Yeah. Oh, I've just clocked that was the dream. Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was the dream.
Yeah, that's so weird that you're walking yet you need the catheters. Yeah, that is weird.
Oh, turn the thing.
I was at work the other day and I reached into my little cush pocket and I was like, oh no, I forgot my catheters. But luckily, I keep a box in the car, and also I have like where's my bag? I've got it right here. So I have these. I'll just quickly grab it. I have a little case which I have some in. So like there are like 4 in here which I always carry in my bag. So in case I need some and that happens, I'm like, oh, I've got some backup ones, right? Which is nice. And so I've got backup in the car, backup in the bag, just in case for whatever reason I don't have them in there. But like when I went to the gym earlier, I left my bag in the car, I wheeled to the gym because it was a really lovely day, and the gym is next to the supermarket. So I went to the gym after work, and then I only had one catheter, and I was like, oh goodness me, like good job I've got one, because like I really need a wee, and I can't wheel all the way back to the car and then back to the gym. So yeah, that was just really odd.
Yeah, that's crazy. Oh, the last thing about the dream thing. I can have sex in my dreams, but I can't feel it. So it's like, it's such
Interesting.
or I can feel it a little bit, but I can't get off. It's just the weirdest thing. I don't know, which I think is complete bullshit. If I'm able to walk in my dreams, why can't I just, I still remember what it felt like. It doesn't happen. It's like I wake up, I'm like, damn it. Why wasn't I able to do that, to do my thing?
I would love it if in the dream we were able to, and I think this is a very, very common thing. I think it's, and feel free to let us know in the comments if this is resonating or it's different. But at the same time, I think, wouldn't it be amazing if you're like, oh, I am walking through this muddy field and I don't have my wheelchair. I tell you what, I am dreaming. Let's do something amazing, let's, go have sex, and feel all the feelings, or like go jump up and down, or go do some really cool things, and then like really appreciate them, not just like retroactively think, oh shit, I should have done that after you wake up, It's such a weird feeling of like I said before, I know I need my wheelchair, or I know I need my catheters, but I'm, you never kind of like fully appreciate the fact that you're able-bodied in the dream.
Right. No, it's funny because I've actually had dreams like that where I was aware that I was dreaming, and I'm like, what shit can I stir up? Like I'll walk down the street, I'll punch somebody in the face, or steal their car, or I'll just hold my arms out and fly away. It's just like, this is sweet. I can do whatever I want.
Yeah, like Grand Theft Auto, you could.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Bang a hooker and then steal a car.
On the subject of travel, so me and my girlfriend are planning a trip soon to go to Portugal, and we were planning on driving, and because number one, when we get there, it would be really nice to have my wheelchair and I was going to buy a little tri-ride, little scooter thing to buzz around on, because I think that would be fun, and to take that, and then we could take the dog. But it's such a long way from here that even though it would be nice to have a car, we'd have to take my car because I can't drive her car because hers isn't an automatic.
Manual. Yeah.
And then then we'd have to find places to stay along the way that are wheelchair accessible and dog friendly, and it would just increase the cost of the trip by probably 10x if we just flew there. But then a lot of the fun is on the way, Right. And then I was thinking about, if my car breaks down, we're completely screwed. I'll have all my wheelchair stuff. How am I going to get it back? Anyway, I just wondered if you thought about, like, I know that a road trip there's lots of risky, expensive things that happen on a road trip if you choose to drive somewhere rather than flying there directly. But the wheelchair does add an extra, like how many, I don't know. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. My thing is, I like road trips, but I worry about sitting on my ass too long in a car, just for pressure sores and stuff like that.
I always sit on my seat cushion.
In the car?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird, because that would boost you way up, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but my seat goes up and down, so.
Oh, okay. I don't think
I
I've
always
ever
sit on my seat cushion. I've got a seat cushion that permanently sits in the car.
Oh, I have one that like truck drivers use. It's a Rojo cushion, but it's just one made for a car, but it's still not that cushiony.
Yeah.
And then the other thing I always think about, between driving and flying is how much time. If you've got 2 weeks to go and, travel, I think it would be awesome to drive. I would never be able to take that much time off work in one setting. So that's why I would be like, a few years ago, 12 years ago, we flew I'm in Columbus, Ohio, which is Midwest, East Coast. We flew all the way to San Diego, California, rented a convertible, drove all the way up to San Francisco, which is like, I don't know, hours in between, but we did that over the span of a week. So it was cool because we were able to have kind of the best of both worlds. Like we got out there quickly, but then we were able to still have the road trip feel, and then we just flew all the way back. But that would have been, God, I don't even know. Just to get out there, it would have been probably about 16 hours.
Yeah.
So I think that's the other thing. Europe is so much smaller that I don't have that comprehension of, a road trip to Portugal probably could work. That'd be like driving from here to Florida or something for me. How
It's
long do you think it'd drive?
4,000 kilometers away. So it's quite far. Like I think like America is quite big, but I think Americans like, oh, Europe's quite close. If you think about all the different countries, they are very close, but they're still like, if it is quite a long distance.
Yeah. I feel stupid. Like I should know this. Portugal is on the side of Spain, right? Like if you're looking at Spain, it's on the west side. Okay.
Yeah.
I was just trying to picture where it is.
Yeah.
I don't know. So what do you think? What do you think you'll end up doing?
Well, it's just so. It's gonna cost a lot, and then with the rising price of fuel, let's not get into that. But like, it probably might cost even more. And then, just I don't know. Part of me like, because I was asking ChatGPT about it. I was like, ChatGPT, it's really good at like weighing the pros and cons of stuff.
Yeah.
And it said, if money wasn't an option and you were confident that the vehicle wouldn't break down, what would it be? And I was like, well, it would be the road trip, 100%. If it wasn't, the fact that it's going to cost lots of money, it would be amazing. Like, I think road trips are so much fun. It's not the destination, it's the journey. I know it sounds cliche, but there's so many cool things. That last time we did a road trip in Spain, we had so much fun, like stopping at places and staying at different hotels, and it was fantastic. So I'd love to take the car. But then flying, I would really like to take the trike, because my friend lives off grid, so I'd have to like wheel around on his land. So it would be handy to have one when I've got the bike, but that's just big and clunky.
Right.
So then I'd have to travel with it, and I've never traveled with it. I'm sure there's loads of people that have traveled with their tri-rides or, scooter attachments. But then you hear so many stories of like it got broke or damaged in the plane, and you're like, so it's just, as a wheelchair user, there's so many things that make the decisions a little bit more logistically difficult. Like again, like the spontaneity of like able-bodied people. Oh, let's just go. It'll be fine. Like if we break down, it'll be fine. Like rather than if we break down in rural Portugal, I'm completely screwed.
Right. Yeah, like you can't even get out of the car and walk. Yeah, that would scare the crap out of me too. Do you think your car can make it? What is it, like 2008 Ford, isn't it?
Yes. You really are a car guy.
I am. I told you.
That's exactly what it is. A 2008 Ford S-Max. That was remarkable.
I thought it was a C-Max. Is it S-Max?
Very similar. Yeah, very similar. Yeah.
Gotcha. So do you think it could make it though? I mean, like, do you keep up on the maintenance, transmission fluid changes and all that crap?
I feel like you just pulled a magic trick on me. That was remarkable. What was that? A 2008 Ford C-Max? A Ford S-Max, actually. But yeah,
right.
Pretty close. You've only seen it in videos. That's wild, Brian.
Exactly.
You really are a car guy. Bravo, sir. That was like a magic trick.
I'm a car nerd.
Yeah. That was brilliant. So I do keep up on it. Again, I had this chat with ChatGPT about like, do I need to replace the cam belt? And it said, well, if it was done at 200,000 miles and you've only done 200,000 kilometers and you've only done 309,000 kilometers, you'll probably be all right until around about 400,000 kilometers. So it's unlikely that you need to get that done. And, and it asked me lots of questions. And I'm like, yeah, the car runs fine. If for a 2008 car, it runs smoothly. It's got all the bells and whistles, and... So yeah, I'm confident that the car, and also it said, motorway driving is what diesel engines are made for. If anything, starting it on cold mornings is more damaging to the engine than just cruising along on the motorway. So.
Oh, it's a diesel.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So 2-liter turbo diesel. So yeah, just boosts along. It's not particularly quick, not particularly slow. It's a nice little. It's a nice little car, and also the fact that it's from 2008 and it's like cosmetically it's got loads of scratches on it.
Yeah.
You would hate that. But because I like throw my wheelchair and stuff in it, so I'm not precious about it, you know. But I
Right.
am precious about like replacing it because I don't want to, you know, I'm as much as I don't mind the cosmetic scratches. If I had to replace a car, like the car means so much to me. Like it's my freedom, especially in the place where I live. So
Right.
yeah, getting around, like I wouldn't want to lose that vehicle. I don't know. It's just complicated, isn't it?
Yeah. So the only other thing I would think about is like mountains. Are you going to be driving up in the mountains? Because that would put a lot of stress on it. If not, if it's
Well,
pretty flat, you could probably be fine.
we
Yeah.
we live in the mountains, so we'd have to go down via Geneva and then through Spain. So no, I don't think we'd be going on any mountains really. So
Okay.
yeah,
I say go for it. I say go for the drive.
yeah, why not, man? Yeah, life's too short, you know. Yeah, I've been earning a little bit more at my job as well, which is really nice because I get my disability money, and then when I get my pay slip on top of that, I'm like, whoa, wow, that's actually pretty good, and I get paid a little bit more than I thought I would get paid, and so I've got a little bit of extra cash, and you know, part of me thinks like, oh, you know, maybe save it or invest it for the future, but now I'm like, oh, do you know what? I just want to go on a big trip and have some fun, you know. I don't want to, you know,
Yeah.
say I've got some money set aside for the future, you know. I think, yeah, just spend, I don't know, a couple of grand on a good old road trip, and if the car dies, then you know, whatever, we'll figure it out. But you know, like I
Right.
say, it's probably a measured risk. I don't think the car would break down.
Yeah. Yeah. And you brought up a good point. Like I always think, there's these people that save, 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 and then they retire and they die 5 years later. You know, why don't you just, I support you in that, now is the time to do it. You don't have a
Yeah,
kid. Because that's another
yeah,
thing, we went out to did that California trip before we had Ellie. I mean, we could do it still, but yeah, I wouldn't be able to get my convertible. So,
yeah.
and that was really important. So I'm glad we at least knocked that trip out, while we could.
You make a good point. There's a great book by Bill Perkins called Die with Zero, and he says that there are so many people that save for retirement, and then during their retirement, they either get sick, ill, or very, very commonly die with a lot of money in the bank. So he says, die with zero. He's like, you should try and aim to die with zero money in the bank. He said, and he has like caveats of like how you can pass on wealth to your children if you want to or you need to. But he's like, yeah, why bother saving up just so you can die with all the money in the bank? And I think that is something that I've got some money saved for the future and stuff, but it's don't get me wrong, it's a really nice financial safety net. I'm like, oh well, if my car does die, I could probably replace it without having to get a loan from the bank. That gives you a lot of peace of mind, right?
Right.
But at the same time, I don't know, is there ever like a figure that you're comfortable with? I think at any time I don't know,
I feel like, if you had like 20 grand, well, euros, but I think euros and dollars are pretty close. Just have
yeah,
if you had a savings like that. And yeah, and then after that, you just do what you want to do. That way, if you did need a car, you could replace it. If there was a major situation, you wouldn't have to finance it. I don't know.
yeah. But then I think, oh, but then if I start from zero and I had to start saving again, it's,
Yeah.
oh, I don't know. I don't want to get too much into it, but it is a bit of a dilemma. Do I spend my money or do I save my money? But at the same time, at the moment, things seem a little uncertain. I don't want to be too doom and gloomy, and I certainly don't want to branch off into something that's undesirable to talk about. But at the same time, what are we saving for? Like, I would love to, like, there was a point that when I was younger, I was all about life experiences. I didn't have any savings. I would end up in a foreign country with no money, and I ended up back on my feet. I was again spontaneous, and now I'm just a little bit more conservative with my finances, and I want to be a little bit more gung ho and just be like, yeah, life's about living, and memories is like the real currency.
Yeah. Yeah. I get it. It's those 40s that creep in, and then now we're actual grown-ups, and we have.
Well, it's especially if like you think, oh, I want to have a child one day. Like obviously, I want to have financial stability for a child because children can be expensive and unexpected expenses, and maybe some money if something happens to me, I could leave something to who knows, I don't know. There's always a reason like not to spend your money.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
I think as long as you have enough that you're not really screwing yourself, but then again, you don't have to have, $1 million in the bank either, because you're going to die and you're going to end up leaving that to somebody else. I don't know. So segue into my other question. What's up with the kids situation?
Well, I don't know if you heard the last podcast I spoke to Brittany about, which is good because then I can bring it up now. So we've been trying, and we've been trying unsuccessfully. And we've been trying for like maybe 6 months, and according to statistics, that would be fine. 6 months without 6 months properly trying, in the window, and nothing so far. Statistically, not unusual, apparently, according to my age, her age, But then, I do have a spinal cord injury, and I spoke to the doctor about getting my sperm tested, and then, her getting a blood test about hormonal things and stuff. And then Chris asked the question to ChatGPT, does cannabis use affect fertility? And ChatGPT was like, yeah, actually it does, like quite a lot for like the man and the woman. And I was like, oh god damn it, really? Because like I brought this up in the last podcast, and I'd love to get your opinion on it. How much do I want to be a parent? Like, obviously being a parent involves sacrifices, right? But I already have sacrificed so much by being in a wheelchair, and I like my little gummies, right? It's not like I smoke weed, it's not like I'm puffing on bongs. I'm not like an unproductive stoner like when I was an unproductive stoner, But I like having a little gummy every now and then. What's the harm in that? I genuinely think it has a positive influence on my life. It increases harmony in my relationship. Chris loves it. It makes me more creative. It makes me consume less and create more, and I love it. But then ChatGPT was like, well, could you stop doing it? And I'm like, well, I could, but I don't want to.
Right. No, I'm in the same boat.
Which makes me sound like an addict, right? But it's the same as like, honestly, it's the same as if you said, would you give up coffee? Like, no, like coffee. I like coffee. If I wake up in the morning, it makes me go from sleepy to awake. I think that has a positive effect on my life. So if you asked me to give up coffee, I'd also have the same visceral reaction of like, I don't want to. I mean, I could, but I don't want to.
Yeah. Well, if you think about it, I mean, it's just temporary. If you thought about it that way, it would be temporary.
Absolutely. So Chris and I are in the same boat of like, we understand. And also, if she got pregnant, she would have to do that anyway. And I think if you're pregnant, you have to give up coffee as well. So that really does suck for her.
Right.
We both don't drink alcohol, so that's fine. And the other thing is that the way I sort of I don't even drink alcohol. I don't do any other drugs. Come on, man. I just don't take my gummies away from me. Come on. You've already taken away snowboarding and mountain biking. I'm stuck in this bloody chair all day. Let me get a little lifted, for God's sake.
Right. No, I get it.
Apparently, it lowers your sperm count, which is unfortunate.
I was in the same boat when we were trying to get pregnant too. I had to cut any of that out. So, but it kind of helped too, because at the time it wasn't legal, and Tiff hates it, and it's almost like hanging out. Being high and forever her is like hanging out with a police officer. It's like, this isn't fun.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
No, I get it. Like if I was smoking and there was like a haze and the house stunk of weed, like that would be different. But like literally, I just like have a little gummy, and it just feels so innocent. And I know that it doesn't have a negative effect on my life, but at the same time, it's a sacrifice I'm being asked to make before we've even had a child. And then that sort of brings up, well, how much do you want it? Because you're gonna have to make sacrifices once you've got a child. And I'm like, oh yeah, but obviously when I've got a child, it's more easy to make those sacrifices because I'm like, oh, look at you, I love you, and you have that visceral moment of like, right. I'm a father now, I'm a new man, but like, I'm not even a dad, and you're already asking me to give up the thing that I love.
Right. I would just say, go get tested and see, what your baseline is right now. Because I mean, if it's fine, then it's fine.
Yeah, and
My only other concern would be that like you guys aren't, you will be older parents. So,
yeah.
if you gave this another year, do you feel like you're kind of time's a ticking in this situation?
For Chris, maybe. I know that sounds a bit harsh, but like,
It's true though.
she's 35. She's 36 soon, actually. So, that
Yep.
is technically, what do they call it? What?
Premenopausal? No, it's not.
No. It's if
Not
you
that.
have a pregnancy, it's called a. There's a word for it. Someone will chuck it in the comments. It's a not very kind word. It makes you sound very old. Anyway, I can't
Right.
remember what the actual wording of it is.
Oh, yeah. It's like on the tip of my tongue. I'm trying to think what it is. Damn.
Yeah, someone will chuck it in the comments.
But Tiff was the same age. She was 36.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But it was one of her concerns too, and that's why we did the assisted stuff.
Geriatric.
It does.
There you go.
It does sound like you're about 90 years old.
Yeah. I knew it was going to be Jay. I knew it was going to be Jay in the comments. Yeah, well, geriatric pregnancy, and that's over the age of 35. So that sounds awful, doesn't it?
Right. It does, especially for her. I'm sure that's a slap in the face.
Yeah. I mean, if she's geriatric, then I'm definitely geriatric.
Right.
But yeah. So my what was I going to say? My other concern is that it might not be me. Like it could be her. And then IVF. God, I mean, you've gone through IVF, so you know it. It's you know it more than me. But we've got friends going through IVF, and that really makes you question if you want a baby, because you're like, wow, like we were really hoping for a happy accident. Oh look, we've been blessed with a baby, amazing. And then you're like, well, if I have to make sacrifices, go through IVF, pump hormones into my wife, and then artificially inseminate the eggs, and like, oh god, like, do I want it that badly? I mean, yes, but like, I mean, you've been there. You literally been there.
It sucks. It really sucks. What sucks the most is doing around and then finding out it didn't work. That's brutal.
Yeah.
I mean, it really is.
Oh yeah.
But then once it did work, it was like it made all of that stuff worth it. Yeah, it's just so weird looking back on it,
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's a question you got to ask yourself.
The other thing that I'm very grateful for, again, it sounds awful because I know that you guys paid so much money for it, but like in France, we get IVF for free. So if we, yeah, I know,
Jesus, man.
I know. Every time I bring this up, I feel so guilty of like living in a country where healthcare is socialized, because I know how much that you pay to be disabled. But it's. Yeah, so if we wanted to go through the IVF, we could get 2 rounds of IVF for free.
Wow. Do it.
Well,
I mean, come on. Do it for me. Jesus Christ, do it for me.
all right, yeah. Well, it's just with a happy accident, you're just like, oh, look, we're having a baby. We can't go back now. But like IVF, the sacrifices of like, cutting back on things that you enjoy, they're also like purpose driven, like, and obviously I do want to be a child. If it's a yes or no, do you want to be a dad? Yes or no? Yes. But like, I'd always imagine it would just happen, and there's just such a certain different thought process of shit. I'm gonna have to, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I'm gonna have to spooge in a cup and shoot every. Yeah, I know. Yeah. I get it. It takes the romance out of the just the whole concept and the spontaneity of it. But yeah, man, it's just that's mind blowing. 2 rounds, that's amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Amazing.
Well,
what do you have to?
Do
you have to prove anything? I'm sure there's.
Yeah.
In order to go through that.
We'd have to start the process. So I'm not even sure like how old Chris would be by the time we got to it. But I'd have to do the sperm test. She'd have to do the hormone test. We'd have to, I don't know. We've got some friends that are going through it at the moment. So I definitely would have a direct line of like what that involves. But God, man, like the the things that Kim has gone through, like bless her, she almost died. She had like a internal bleeding that happened, and she went to the doctors and they thought it was like indigestion and sent her home. She collapsed in the street. She had to get picked up by an ambulance, and I'm like, oh blimey. And then after all of that, she wanted to go again because she really desperately wants to be a mum. And I'm like, wow, like that. There's just so much of a toll it takes on the female body, and with the hormones and the mood swings and all. Man, you're just like, shit. I just, I don't want that. I don't want that, but I do want to be a parent.
Yeah. No, I get it. Those hormones, man, are brutal. They are brutal. Yeah. For them and for us. Just because. Yeah. I don't know. Well,
I mean, tell me about it.
You'll have to talk to her about it. I mean, does she feel the same way? Like she wants it, but it's a question of how bad.
She wants it. I think I've got the impression in the past that I want it more than her, but like since we've been trying and not been successful, she's been quite disappointed. I think she's at the same time like, oh shit, this might not happen for us now. And she said to me that in fact I found this out very recently. In fact, just the other day, she was dropped the bombshell that she was an IVF baby and that her mum couldn't get pregnant. And I was like,
What?
oh no way, I did not know that. And then her sister came naturally, but which came afterwards. But I had no idea that she was an IVF baby. So she said, oh well, maybe my mum had fertility issues. Maybe I'll have fertility issues. And I don't know. It's just so really thought provoking. Because like you say, in my head, I know I'm kind of repeating myself. A happy accident is just like, oh, I've been blessed with a baby. I knew I'd make a good dad. Here we go. Let's go. But this isn't how I imagined it, man.
Yeah. So that happened for us too. Tiff had, they're called fibroids. So even if I was able-bodied, that would have not resulted in a successful pregnancy. And we didn't find that out until we started trying. And then it was one of those situations where the doctor's like, well, we're going to test her, at least stick a scope up there and see, if there's any concerns, if she can carry. And that's when we found out that it was an issue. So it just made me feel a little better that I wasn't just the cripple, and the one. Yeah. It's like, it's not just me. It's not just my fault.
So that's the thing. Like, I haven't had my sperm tested, but I just assume that it's me because I've got a spinal cord injury, but it may not be me.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. It's there's just so much uncertainty, and I think who knows, man. It's just not how I imagined it, It does make you question how much you want it.
For sure.
But I guess you've gone through it, you did it, and it cost you loads of money. You paid out of pocket for it. And now you've got Ellie, and obviously you wouldn't take it back. It's fantastic.
Right. Yeah, she's pretty cool. Even when she's being a dick, she's pretty cool.
Do you want to talk a little bit about more about your experience of doing it? Because obviously you and Tiff really wanted to be parents, right? Who wanted it more? And when the question of IVF came up and you have to pay for it, what sort of difficult conversations did you have?
Trying to think. So, initially it was, how are we going to pay for this? So I had taken a 401k loan, and then, so basically I had money coming out of each paycheck for that loan. And then we did our first round and it didn't work. Sorry about your luck, but I still had that 15 grand to pay off. So then, we tried to go a different route, cheaper. But I will say, YouTube, I had posted something asking for help, and there was people that were willing to help us, a little bit financially. But still the majority of it was really the money situation that was kind of the big hurdle. Because even once it finally did work, it was one of those situations where we just had to roll the dice and say, this is literally the last time we can even try to afford this. Because I had taken out another loan. So I was majorly in debt. We didn't pay off our IVF till Ellie was probably like 3 or 4, I think, something like that. But as far as just the shots and stuff, it's rough. Like it really is. I remember I have video on my computer of just, me doing the shots every single day. And it was not comfortable for her, and the egg removal and all that. It's a lot. It's definitely a lot. I'm trying to think what else.
Talk to me a little bit more about the shots. Like where do you do it?
So mainly in her ass, like in the upper hip area. No, it's basically like, so if you like drew if you took a butt cheek and you drew a vertical line and a horizontal line, it's like the upper quadrant on both sides. And so you'll do one side one day and then the other side the other day. So it's like, and then she kind of looks like a crack whore with needle shots everywhere on her butt. But it worked. It definitely worked.
Wow. So how, and then, so that's to like increase her egg production, right?
Right. So what they do is they increase the egg production. And then once you get them removed, then they fertilize those, and whatever turns into an embryo is what they save for transfer. But even after, like once you do get a successful pregnancy test, then you have to give progesterone shots, which are like it's basically like a very, very thick medication. And that's what she said hurt the most, more so than like the initial injections, just because it's like a giant needle, like a real thick needle. And what that does is, I guess it builds up it reinforces the lining inside their cervix, or I don't know. I'm not a technical person and it's been a while since we did it, but she said that was the worst part as far as pain wise goes.
Yeah.
And then she was miserable when she was pregnant because she's pretty small as far as her body, she's not a very large woman. And she said, even if she could get pregnant again, she's like, I wouldn't, because it sucked so bad. She's like, women are all, you see these women like, oh, I love my pregnancy, blah, 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 blah. She's like, no, I hated it. She's like, I'm glad I did it, but it wasn't pleasurable.
That's so interesting, because I wonder if when Ellie's older, she'll understand the sacrifices that you made. Like literally financially, you'd be like, well, hey, now you're older, you kind of owe us, like,
right,
with interest,
Yeah, I was going to say,
pay up.
Right. Yep. No, for sure.
And then not just the financial burden, but like the physical cost. And then she was miserable through her pregnancy again. Like I'm honestly, Brian, I'm a little bit selfish. I don't like it when my girlfriend's miserable. I don't want her to be miserable for 9 months.
So that's kind of a segue into a different topic. So Tiffany she pulled a muscle in her back, but it's pinching down on a nerve, and her basically her entire left arm has been going numb. So she's kind of, in pain. She's in constant pain right now. And she can't really do anything, as far as like intimacy and even sleeping is very difficult for her. So I know what you mean. You don't want to see your spouse in pain. Yeah. And it's a helpless feeling too, because it's like, there's nothing I can do to help, so I don't know. And then I also think that, it's also proof that she's now feeling what I've felt, because I have pain in my arm every single day because I've got nerve damage, but that's spinal cord related rather than nerve related. Mm-hmm. And she's like, now I know what you feel, but it's just, she's been miserable and I feel terrible for her. So hopefully it'll go away soon. We'll see. I had to take her to the ER last week.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
Does that put extra strain on your relationship because of, if she has a bad back and she can't lift things and she's like physically compromised, and then you're in a wheelchair, does that kind of add to the, like, any sort of like burden you might have felt anyway? Like,
yeah. And it's like little things. For example, Ellie sleeps in our bed. She goes to bed, or she goes to sleep in our bed, but the routine is that Tiff will get up in the middle of the night, carry her to her bedroom, and then that's, that gives us a chance to A, have more room, B, get better sleep, and C, be able to mess around,
Yeah.
And so it's been a big hurdle as far as she can't physically do that. But
It could be a good transition for Ellie to sleep in her own bed.
right, which I said the same thing, and neither of them were for it because Tiff likes it. She likes being able to cuddle up next to Ellie. Ellie feels more content, and she'll actually go to sleep faster if she's with me. We have a routine where I scratch her legs every night. So, she'll get in bed and then she'll plop her legs over, and I'll scratch them and rub them. That's like our daddy, will you rub my legs? That's our daily routine.
What a princess. Jesus.
Dude, she's a total princess. Yeah, she's a total princess.
I can't go to sleep unless my legs are being massaged and I'm also getting a cuddle.
Right.
Yeah, well, I think at some point she's gonna have to sleep.
Well, it's gonna get to a point where she doesn't want to. She wants to sleep in her own bed.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that'll be tough for us because we're used to it. But I've been more about her sleeping in her own room than Tiff has been for years. It's nice to be able to get better sleep than have a kid rolling sideways, sticking their feet in your face, and flopping around.
Yeah,
doesn't not very good for the parents sleep wise.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Oh, I can imagine. And I guess there's this sort of like weird, juxtaposition of like one day she's not going to want to do this. So like there's only a limited amount of time that she likes sleeping in our bed, and we quite like it. But at the same time, it is quite a big ask, if that's the only way she can go to sleep is this little routine which interrupts your sleep. So yeah, right. I can imagine that. Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Like the house is trashed with toys all the time, and it's one of those situations where I look around and I'm like, I remember when none of this was here. You look at your living room and it's just all adult things from before, and now it's all Barbies and LOL dolls, and then I also think, okay, in a few years, maybe 5 years, all this is going to be gone again, and am I going to miss that? That childhood innocence of watching her sit on the floor and play with her Barbies. It's fun. It's fun to watch because she gets so into it, and she's just a kid. She's just to see that childhood innocence.
Yeah. Man, parenthood sounds so like awesome, but difficult, and it's kind of like on the surface, it's surprising that anyone does it voluntarily,
right?
Because of all the sacrifices that you have to make, especially with the IVF and like the financial burden. And then like you say, sometimes they say stuff which is sort of accidentally hurtful, and yeah, they're innocent as well. They don't have any filter. They say things and sometimes they can be quite ungrateful. Like I know that I was certainly ungrateful when I was a kid, and I feel like I've got some bad karma coming towards me because I was such a little shit. So I feel like it's interesting that parenthood is so fulfilling and yet so rewarding, but it's like a thankless task sometimes, right?
Right. Yeah, for sure. I would say the pros outweigh the cons. In the end, the end, that's the way it goes. You can nitpick and be like, oh, well, this would suck. But at the same time, it's like the overall, like watching them open presents on Christmas Day, those kind of moments. That's just like, damn, I'm so glad we get to do this. I'm so glad we get to see, how appreciative she is of that stupid elf on a shelf that we have to wake up and move every single night, but she loves it, So it's like, those are the times where you're like, fuck, I got to do this. But then you wake up and you see her so excited because she thinks, the magic is real.
Oh, that's nice, man. I like that a lot. Yeah. So I think going full circle, I think I should definitely take the road trip, because there'll be a time in my life where it won't be because of like, oh, it might be a bit expensive. It's like, we just can't do that,
Yeah.
So do the road trip, make the memories, because if one day we do have to make some serious sacrifices, which is going to be the case if we become parents, then we would have certainly looked back on, in hindsight of like, oh, we should have done that road trip. So
right.
So yeah, thank you for that.
It's time. Yep.
It's time.
Well, speaking of time, I do have to go back to work here in a few minutes, but I'm trying to think of anything else we haven't covered.
Is
You have
there
any
anything else?
questions?
Is there anything that you wished that we'd have spoken about, which we hadn't have spoken about?
Not that I know of. I think the beauty of chatting with you is that we just kind of let it flow.
Yeah,
Um, yeah, I mean, I like it. I can't
it's
really
really
think of
nice. I
anything
think
else.
I would have. I was going to ask you like a lot of things about like what's been new since we last spoke, but you kept asking me things, so I feel like a little bit like I wanted it to be a little bit more Brian centric, but then you kept pointing it at me, and then I was
Yeah,
chatting. So, but never mind. We catch up again. We can always we don't have to wait for Brittany to be absent to catch up on a pod. So
yeah. No, the only other thing I was going to say is just how shitty this winter has been for me, and now it's finally all the snow's finally melted. It's just like I feel human again. I feel
yeah,
like I'm not a prisoner in my house, and I'm looking out the window right now and the sun is shining. I'm like, God, thank you so much. Because this winter was shit. I mean,
yeah,
feet of snow and it wouldn't melt. It just stayed there for weeks. So
yeah.
anyway,
Well, that resonates with me massively because it feels like I don't know if you can resonate. I feels like I'm coming out of hibernation. It feels like
right.
the days are longer. The sun has started to shine through the window finally because we live like in a place where for about 4 months of the year it doesn't get any sun, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, like, oh, the sun is back. The days are longer. The snow is melting. The snow is visibly melting as soon as the sun comes around the corner. All the snow starts to melt. The roads are dry. I took my bike out for the first time the other day. I got lots of footage. I wanted to make a video for my YouTube channel, but like at the same time consuming and all the footage to go through, like, but yeah, I was like, oh, what a great narrative coming out of hibernation. And so it resonates with me massively, man. We had to take the
Right.
dog for a walk for the first time in months, and like taking that burden off of Chris because she had to walk the dog for months without me contributing. So yeah, like I completely resonate with that, man, and I'm sure
Yeah.
there's so many other people that are like, yeah, thank God the snow is melting.
Right. Yeah. And I'm
Yeah,
like, why the hell do I still live in this kind of climate? Do you ever think that?
yeah,
Like, why do I
yeah,
live in the mountains? Because that would be
yeah.
tough for me too.
Yeah, I mean, Chris
Luckily,
says
Ohio's
that she's
flat.
like, because she's from Spain. She's like, we could always move to Spain. I'm like, oh, my love, I spent so long learning French. I don't know Spanish, like, and she's like,
Right.
well, it's sunny there all the time. And I'm like, oh, God, okay, maybe. But yeah, and also I just really like the place that I live. But yeah, you're right. Why do I live in a place where I have to hibernate
Right.
every
Flat.
winter?
Yeah. I was curious. I don't know if I've asked this before. Why is she in France? Did she?
Same same reason as me. She moved here because of snowboarding and winter, and then fell in love with the place. And then the summers here are nice, and it's just a really lovely place. It's like a very nice little. There's a big expat community here, so there's a lot of English speakers. It's so much preferable than to living in the UK, for example. And it's just a lovely little community that's just feels like a little bubble that's just peaceful and nice, and there's no drama here. So yeah,
Yeah, every time I see a video of you like wheeling around, I'm like, damn, it's like a magical. I don't know. It's just a very pretty place to live for sure.
that's
But
why we
then,
live here, man.
yeah, but then I see massive hills, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to, push my way up that hill. I'm sure you got
Well,
used
I
to it though.
I drive most places. You know,
Yeah.
I'm quite proficient in speaking French now, so I feel like I'm really settled in. And like I say, the other thing is the healthcare. France is amazing for socialized healthcare, and it's one of the best places you could have a spinal cord injury, I think. So yeah,
Even more
loads
so
of
than the
loads of
UK.
reasons. 100%. Yeah, yeah. I would
Really?
I would imagine. I think honestly, I feel really bad saying this, but one of the worst places that you could have a spinal cord injury is probably America. Like your healthcare system seems just so utterly expensive.
Yeah. It's bullshit.
So
Yeah.
many we've spoken about this before, but so many people become bankrupt out of something that accidentally happened to them.
Right. Yeah. I mean, medical bills, like a $60,000 procedure is a pretty basic procedure here.
Yeah,
So it's like, why and why? Why does it have to be that expensive? It's just price gouging, I feel like.
if
I don't
anything,
know.
I've benefited financially from being injured, which is weird but
Yeah.
true. So
Yeah. There's got to be a silver lining, right?
there's a silver lining. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, I know that you've got to get off, and this has been a really great to catch up with you again. So thank you so much for your time, man. I appreciate it, and it's been
Of course.
awesome.
Yep. I'm always here, man. If you need a backup person, I'm ready to chat.
Well, I think we should make an effort to do this more often, even if yeah, even if Brittany's around, let's just do
I
it
was
on
gonna
another
say,
day because yeah.
and I could even hop on with you two also, and we
Ah,
can have a little three-way catch up.
well, hey. All right, nice one, man. Right, well, we'll leave it there, and I know that you've got to get back to your back to work. But yeah,
Yep.
thanks everybody. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you. I'll see you guys next week, and I'll see you, Brian, hopefully sometime soon.
Sounds good. See you,
All right,
Fred.
see you later.